Dr. Naji, you know, this decay has been there for a while. We know that it didn't just happen overnight.
It's incremental.
Exactly, it happened gradually. And maybe to the credit of this administration, they seem to be taking some steps to address it. I mean, let's not forget that the agreement that we're talking about now was signed in 2009, not directly under their tenure. It's something that they inherited,
Yes,
as it
agreed.
were. And then, you know, looking at this year's budget, I mean, amidst all the controversy, people still know that the largest chunk was given to education. Do you think that it's just, this is something that, you know, it's not something that can be resolved immediately and will actually take time, but, you know, will require the cooperation of both the lecturers and the government?
I don't need to be misunderstood. When I talk about government, all government, both local, state, and federal government. And it doesn't have to be the present administration. It has been an incremental decay or deterioration because we don't have a clear... There was a time in this country we have National Development Plan. You could then say that in the year XX that we have 2 million primary school enrollment, that in 5-6 years these people will be graduated to a secondary school. There will be a plan for the kind of schools that will be able to absorb these people, and if 60 or 40 or 30% of these people graduate into university, we will require this, we will require that. It is not so much about the number of universities, it is about the quality. And
the planning
must be international standard because labor is of high mobility. Otherwise, we will be losing ground. You see the way people are going to outsource staff, employees, and we say there's unemployment, but there are so many unemployable people. So the solution does not lie in throwing money at the problem, because we throw money and that's where the problem of Nigerian politicians lie. They will tell you that we've spent $10 billion doing this road. But Okada cannot go through that road. I'm interested in results and not glibly talks about how you intend to achieve them.
Just yesterday, you know, you just hit on, you know, a very strategic part of this entire mess, which is planning.
Yes.
It seems that, you know, the Ministry of National Planning is planning something, is planning a Vision 2020.
I don't know what they are planning.
It doesn't seem that, you know, all the other sectors are keen into. For instance, possibly the Ministry of Education does not exactly understand the plan of the Ministry of National Planning, you know, does not see his own role in the Ministry of National Planning in its Vision 2020.
In fact,
so
that ministry is supposed to be the driver. But it appears it is not even the conductor. It's waiting at the garage. The conductor and the driver have taken the vehicle away, and it is waiting at the motor park.
Because I'm looking at, here we are, we're maybe halfway, more than halfway, we're supposed to be more than halfway into the 2013 budget.
Yes.
If we're looking at how much, the agreement that they have on ground and how much is going to take to implement it, the truth of the matter is most of the funds in this year's budget might not even be able to cover it. So how do you think that ASUU and the government can reach a middle ground where, or the government can actually prove to ASUU that we're working on this plan and we intend to implement every strand of the agreement that we've had with you?
I want to look at it from two perspectives, the government and the ASUU. First and foremost, government must show good faith. Openness. When you tell your family that you are earning 10,000 naira, no more, no less, nobody will tell you to take them on a trip to Dubai. But if they want chocolate you buy, you pose as if you have. When you don't have, even your wife will tell you that Lamborghini, I like to see how the seats are. You understand? So tell the ASUU people the truth of what you want to do. Let them see action. You don't need 100% achievement of what they are demanding. Then make demands from ASUU, because you don't have to be boxed in every time defending. You people should publish or perish. It's not a question of telling somebody to go and get PhD as they have been banding on. It's a PhD is flying in the air. That is what you want to call a PhD. After all, we have, when some banks say that you need people who have AIB and MBA, the satellite university started producing the thing, milling the thing on a weekly basis. You have somebody with an MBA, can't even sum 2 plus X. You can't do that.
In that case, they'll have to perish.
Well, that will perish if you are in that group. You understand? The certificate, from the concept of certification, it is content that is certified. If you bring a drug, a pharmacist does not certify bottle. He certifies the content of the drug after having tested it, that it meets the standard or what he claims in terms of chemical contents and components. So, on the side of government, there must be a demand from university lecturers. It's not a question of you go and draw a salary and copy what somebody has written without prejudice to the hardworking ones, which we very well know, because if you are a very hardworking lecturer, the students will know, and they don't toy with your courses.
Getting back to this one, I mean, yesterday we did highlight, we took a look, went back to 2011. That was 2 years after they signed that agreement in 2009. And then the minister now, at the time, while she was reviewing the agreement, said, look, well, yes, they signed this agreement, but ASUU and the federal government did not agree on where the money was going to come from. And then they gave the impression that, okay, ASUU was supposed to give some sort of suggestion concerning where the federal government was going to get the funds with which they were going to meet up this agreement. I think they needed 106 billion. And then the IGR of the universities put together was about 25. And so there's a shortfall. And perhaps that informs the larger part of this stalemate that we're in now.
Well, it's when I said that the federal government should also show good faith, I had in mind that comment. In the first instance, many of those universities we're talking about, especially the federal ones, were not designed as internal revenue generating outfits. You understand? They were supposed to take in resources and produce a different product that will generate more resources and increase our national, enhance our national development. That's human capital. That was the original conceptualization. If by situation we find ourselves they need to redesign these things, it is not on that negotiation table that they will begin to ask the university to tell them how much they can generate. They are not selling Gary. You understand? Now, the problem is that we are not scientific in our orientation, in anything. We don't think through programs and projects. We are so, they say everything in Nigeria now, sharp, sharp, sharp. That is the attitude everybody seems to have been sucked in. Because if you are still saying, let us do it that way, the boss will leave you behind. And of course, when you are left behind, there are people who want to throw stone at you or give you a knock. It's not as if you will be left on your own. So the problem is we need to sit down. For example, even the instrument of test, like this JAMB and all that, we have scholastic tests and so on. Time without number, they update and revalidate these tests. What is the internal correlation between JAMB scores and the GPA in the universities? To be able to validate that what JAMB is doing or what they are setting has any relevance. What is the internal correlation between WAEC result, which is the entry requirement, and the JAMB result and GPA? How many lecturers, because these ones don't require too much money to allocate for research. What research effort have been made, even in educational planning and administration, to get some of these things in perspective, so that when ASUU is talking, they are talking authoritatively.
So you mean
and earn the respect of the people. ASUU membership must also sit up. Because just as much as government itself must show good faith and be serious. It's not a question of balancing on religion or balancing on ethnicity. It is not true that every state in this country has the capacity to produce the personnel we need to fill in every kind of position.